Moving on to the markets now, the Nigerian Stock Exchange closed at 36,577.28 points, up just marginally by 0.04%. Now, leading today's laggards include Flour Mill, GlaxoSmithKline, WAPCO, Presco, and Nigeria Aviation Handling Company NACO, while the laggards for the session were Dangote Cement, UAC Property, Unilever, Air Service, and National Salt Company of Nigeria, NASCON. Now, investors at Nigeria's local bourse staked more cash for equities today as the market closed the week positive, boosted by defensive stocks. Flour Mill remained investors' favorite, leading the best performing equities for the day. Babajide Sholanke, equities analyst, joins me at research strategy at FSDH Merchant Bank, joins me now for a review of today's trade. Thank you so much, Babajide, for joining us.
Thank you, Esther, for having me.
Well, it looks like Flour Mills is still making headline. The stock has gained over 13 Naira in just 2 trading sessions. Now, is this a trend we could see continuing, or investors still basking in the euphoria of those earnings, the earnings that we saw the company put out recently?
Thank you, Esther, again for having me. What has happened to Flour Mill is that, we should start off by saying that investors purchase stocks because of the future earnings stream of the company, not because of historical. Find that the historical has come out well. But if you look into the future of Flour Mill, it looks very exciting. Flour Mill is a company that has expanded its operation, group capacity, did a lot of restructuring of its cost, reduced cost by merging operations of some of its subsidiaries like Bako and Northern Nigerian back company. So going forward, we expect we expect Flour Mills to continue to impress, to continue to excite investors to end the year, because projections is that earnings will improve significantly beyond the previous year. And again, if you look at key input into some of its operations, like wheat, like sugar, the global prices of these commodities are expected to be on the decline into the foreseeable future. So if you look at input costs expected to come down, operating expenses expected, of course, to remain the same, and with significant earnings into the future, it is just rational that investors should take advantage of current pricing to lock into the stock.
Now, many analysts have recommended a strong buy position for Flour Mill. Is that FSDH's sentiment also?
Yeah, way back in May, not even now, way back in May, we wrote and released an equity research report on Flour Mills, and our predictions about 103.94 Naira thereabout. And we know that's a strong buy if you look at the current price. Way back in May, we've seen that potential.
Now, obviously, it looks like the market is going to end in the red for the week. Talking about the weekly, week-to-date, of course, week-to-date numbers. That probably would log a fourth week of losses. Now, is this a trend you think could continue next week? It looks like the market is showing some fatigue. Do you think things could pick up more than what we've seen in the last 2 days of gains?
Yeah, I expect things to pick up, next week, but not very significantly. Because if you look at historical data, even from 1998 till 2012, you find out that between periods changing between July and August has always, more than 80% of within that period has always been a negative return. And if year to date in August 2013, the index has shed about what it's gained in July. So it's expected, that we will have a negative return for the month of August. And as I said, for next month, we will see some kind of pickup in activities. Well, we don't expect it to change fundamentally in September. But what happens is that, it offers opportunities for people to come in, because it's a significant drop in values of most stocks that are showing, good fundamental value again.
Now let's talk about, let's project for next week, look at possible forecasts for key sectors, banking sector and consumer goods, and perhaps industrial goods sector too. Do you expect these sectors to be sectors that investors will look to next week, particularly banking stocks, as the market continues to await second quarter earnings from First Bank?
I'll tell you this, what I expect in terms of sector, in terms of consumer, investors, that will excite investors will be stocks, as we mentioned, that defensive stocks. Stocks that have, very robust and spread around, more like a diversified income stream like Flour Mills, is going to continue to perform well. Dangote Sugar as well, particularly stocks that have input cost that has to do with agricultural product imported from abroad, will continue to see reduction in their input cost and operating costs, and ultimately they will begin to have, good returns going forward. For the banking stocks, I do not expect any major significant change from the First Bank result expected next week, as First Bank has communicated to the stakeholders that to release its result next week. I don't see any significant difference from what I've released by the other banks. And of course, it's not far-fetched from the current central bank CRR of 50% on public sector funds, and which has dropped the balance sheet of the banks by about 10%. So, but going forward, the future earnings per shares of the banks still look good, and people will begin to, recalibrate and reposition into the stocks. But I do not see any major activities in banking stocks given the current monetary policy environment that stifles the opportunities for growth in the short term.
Okay, let's talk about one activity that we're going to see tomorrow. That's the NSE's X-Gen. The stock exchange is going to test the readiness of this new trading platform. Now, let's talk about your expectations. We know this is meant to come on stream by the end of the third quarter of this year. But in terms of how it's going to aid in price discovery, market transparency, and perhaps better efficiency, your thoughts on that?
Well, those features that those attributes that you've mentioned, in terms of market efficiency, in terms of depth, liquidity, is what this Nigerian Stock Exchange is currently working on. I must give kudos to them. They've done extreme work to make sure that the market becomes one of the best in the world and embrace global best practices. Trainings have been ongoing for about 2 to 3 weeks now. Training stockbrokers on the new X-Gen trading platform, replacing the Horizon platform, and people have embraced it. The stockbrokers have embraced it. You can say enthusiasm in the learning environment. People are asking questions. Fears are being raised. The Nigerian Stock Exchange is not being autocratic. It's consulted widely. It's taking down these observations. Is incorporating into the training platform so that people can participate. Of course, one of the training again is that almost all the brokers have gone through that training. So tomorrow we expect to have some kind of near reality trading, like a normal day that we normally have on Monday to Friday. So people are expected to be there tomorrow to test the skill acquired in the training, to put it into practice in a near life situation, and I expect it to be exciting. I expect more questions to be raised and more answers to be provided by the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And of course, we expect this X-Gen to replace the Horizon by the first trading week of September. So everybody needs to be on board to enjoy this and take advantage of this new robust platform. Again, I must quickly mention again that the security factor of the X-Gen is that it allows stock brokerage firms to have what we call the OMS, which is like the online online management system, in terms of you being able to you've been able to give your clients your trading, you've been able to give your clients the platform for them to trade independently of you, of course, to assess the Nigerian Stock Exchange, to place their orders, to execute their orders, of course, but through the firm that are coming through. So of course there are fears again about commission, but that's been addressed again, whether that will win that commission and take out the brokers. But by and large, what I expect is I expect the retail side of the market to kind of, the retail and the wholesale side to start kind of close up in terms of margin.
Well, how excited are you about this new trading platform and how it's going to change things for you as a trader?
I'm excited, as a trader. Actually, I'm really an active trader. I'm more of a research analyst, but I'm qualified and able to participate anytime I'm ready to do that. And having gone through the training, I'm excited about the new features of this new trading. As I mentioned earlier on, one big part of it is that people can trade remotely. The stock exchange has informed us through the training, and we've come to realize through the training that Nigerian Stock Exchange is moving towards a paperless exchange. And if you look behind me on the trading floor, you see that the trading margins have been changed from the Horizon to the exchange for tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier on. Of course, the printing machines will leave the floor. So what we're going to have is a more robust, more transparent, more liquid, a deeper Nigerian market that will attract the global capital because of the best practices that have been put in place by the current management of the Nigerian Stock Exchange.